A very good evening to all of you. You're watching News Tonight. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the news rolling with the headlines first. India's strength resides in its geographical and social diversity. Chief Prime Minister Narendra Modi tells young participants of Republic Day Parade that fulfilling their duties will pave the way to a new India. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for movement to prevent moral deterioration in governance, exhorts centre and state governments to ensure code of conduct, asks bureaucracy to be proactive and ensure there is no gap in intent, execution and delivery of services. Citizens delegation meet President Ramnath Kovind in support of citizenship law. 154 eminent people, including retired judges, civil servants, armed forces officers, diplomats and intellectuals, call for protection of democratic institutions, demand strict action against rioters during CAA protest. Campaigning heats up for assembly elections in Delhi. Union Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP National President JP Nadda address public meetings. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal holds roadshow in West Delhi. And Team India start tour of New Zealand with a bang. Men in blue win their first 2020 match at Auckland's Eden Park by 6 wickets. Chased down winning target of 204 runs in 19 overs to lead 1-0 in 5-match series. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked the youth to follow their duties towards the country to pave the way for a new India. Addressing the youths who will participate in the Republic Day Parade, Prime Minister Modi urged them to ensure no person and no region is left behind. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with over NCC cadets, NSS volunteers, tableau artists, etc. at his residence ahead of the Republic Day Parade. Referring to their efforts of training for the Republic Day Parade, Modi said the whole world witnesses the power of India through their performance on Rajpath.
एक रिपब्लिक के रूप में पूरे विश्व के सामने एक उत्तम उदाहरण रखा है। ऐसे में हमें देश के संविधान एक ऐसे पहलू पर ध्यान देने की जरूरत है जिसकी चर्चा बीते 7 दशक में उतने विस्तार से नहीं हो पाई। हमें नागरिक के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों को प्राथमिकता देना, प्रमुखता देना और हर बात को अपने कर्तव्य के तराजू से ही तोलते रहना चाहिए। अगर अपने कर्तव्यों को हम ठीक से निभा पाएंगे तो हमें अपने अधिकार के लिए लड़ने की कभी भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। यहां जितने भी युवा साथी आए हैं, मेरा आपसे आग्रह रहेगा कि राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों की ज्यादा से ज्यादा चर्चा करें। चर्चा ही नहीं बल्कि खुद अमल करके उदाहरण पेश करें। हमारे ऐसे ही प्रयास न्यू इंडिया का निर्माण करेंगे।
Defining unity in diversity, Prime Minister Modi said, despite several languages, traditions, castes and creeds, India is one like a bouquet of flowers. Artists also presented some performances at the event.
आप एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की सोच को साकार करते हैं। जब हम एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये भी याद रखना है कि आखिरकार ये भारत है क्या। असल में भारत है क्या? भारत की अपनी पहचान क्या है? भारत क्या सिर्फ सरहदों के भीतर 130 करोड़ लोगों का घर मात्र ही है क्या? आपका मन भी कहेगा जी नहीं। भारत एक राष्ट्र के साथ साथ एक जीवंत परंपरा है, एक विचार है, एक संस्कार है, एक विस्तार है। भारत का मतलब वसुधैव कुटुंबकम। भारत का मतलब सर्वपंथ संभाव। भारत का मतलब सत्यमेव जयते। भारत का मतलब अहिंसा परमो धर्म। भारत का मतलब एकम सत विप्राह बहुधा वदंती। सत्य यानी सच तो एक ही है, इसको देखने का नजरिया अलग अलग है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday lauded the work done by children who won national awards in various categories, saying he gets inspiration and energy from them. Interacting with 49 children who won the Pradhan Mantri Bal Puraskar at his residence, the Prime Minister said he is proud to see the awareness of their duty towards society and the nation.
आपने जो काम किया है उसको करने की बात छोड़ दीजिए, सोचने में भी बड़े बड़े लोगों को पसीने छूट जाते होंगे कि आप कभी भी अपने जीवन में वो दूसरे प्रकार के आदतों को घुसने ही मत देना। अभी जो हुआ है वो कुछ नहीं, ऐसा ही मान के जाइए। ठीक है, अभी तो मुझे बहुत कुछ करना है, देश को बहुत कुछ देना है, खुद को हर प्रकार से तैयार करना है। ये अगर जज्बा लेकर के जाते हैं तो आप देखिए आपको इस अवसर का बहुत बड़ा आनंद मिलेगा, उसमें से कुछ नया सीखने को मिलेगा।
Describing corruption as a major hurdle in India's growth and development, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for a total war on corruption. Delivering the Sardar Patel lecture on governance in Delhi on Friday, Naidu expressed concern over the deteriorating moral and social values in the society. He also stressed on the need for initiating a movement of ethics at all levels of governance in the country.
As the degeneration in moral and social values in the society led to a general decline in the functioning of our public services at every level, it's a question we must ask. Everyone must ask this question. I feel that it is imperative that a movement of ethics is initiated at all levels in governance of the country. Corruption is a major canker and has to be relentlessly fought at every level. Now it's a global phenomenon also. It is said that the corruption skews growth and development, affects the economy, deepens poverty and increases inequalities. It sustains informal power structures.
Remembering Vallabhbhai Patel for his contribution in unifying the nation into one single territorial entity, the Vice President said Sardar Patel had a clear vision for an efficient administrative system. Asserting that people must be at the center of governance system, he asked the bureaucracy to be more proactive and ensure that there was no gap in the intent, execution and delivery of various services to the people.
With a clear vision for an efficient administrative system, he wanted the civil servants to maintain the highest standards of probity and efficiency and strive to uplift the conditions of the poor without fear or favor. The bureaucracy, the civil service have a greater responsibility in seeing to it that whatever legislations are passed by the Parliament or the Assembly, decisions taken by the Cabinet or the ministers and ministries are implemented and the benefits that are announced reach the dedicated or the desired people. That is the main part of the governance.
Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha Harivansh also addressed the event. He praised the IC Centre for Governance for improving administrative work.
कि गवर्नेंस को लगातार इफेक्टिव बनाने के अलावा इस देश को मजबूत बनाने का कोई दूसरा रास्ता नहीं है। मैं पाता था, मैं पत्रकार के रूप में देखता था और छोटी जगहों पर जाता था, जिन ब्लॉक्स में जाता था, पहले कुछ 1 लाख रुपए उनके विकास के लिए आते थे, अब कई सौ करोड़ आते हैं। जो वहां लास्ट मैन है, जो विकास का दायित्व जिसके ऊपर, वो जानता नहीं कैसे इन चीजों को हम खर्च कर पाए। उसके पास सपोर्ट सिस्टम नहीं है। इन चीजों पर लगातार वर्षों से प्रभात कुमार जी का ये सेंटर, वो प्रेसिडेंट है इसी सेंटर फॉर गवर्नेंस की, काम करता रहा है।
A delegation supporting CAA met President Kovind at Rashtrapati Bhavan on Friday. The delegation submitted a memorandum of support in favor of citizenship law and asked the president to take action against those who spread violence during the protest. The delegation comprises of 154 eminent citizens. Members of the delegation said that everyone has a right to protest, but the demonstration should be within constitutional scope.
देश के अंदर जो वायलेंस हो रही है इन द गार्ब ऑफ द प्रोटेस्ट, जो देश के अंदर ऑब्स्ट्रक्शंस हो रही हैं, लोगों को सफरिंग हो रही हैं, बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा रहे हैं, जो लोग हॉस्पिटल नहीं पहुंच रहे हैं, और कई जगह तो आपने मीडिया ने दिखाया है कि लोगों को पैसे दिए जा रहे हैं। तो इससे और देश के एंटी नेशनल स्लोगन रेस किए जा रहे हैं, कश्मीर की आज़ादी, असम की आज़ादी। तो हमारा कंसर्न ये है, प्रोटेस्ट करना चाहता है करें, हमें उसके से कोई तलक नहीं है।
Chief Justice of India S.A. Bobde on Friday underlined the need for artificial intelligence in the judicial system to expedite dispute resolution process. However, he cautioned that AI cannot replace human discretion, which is necessary for just decision making. Speaking at 79 Foundation Day celebration of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, the Chief Justice said that artificial intelligence, that is AI, will bring new hope in public institutions in the country. On the role of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, he said it has played a vital role in the tax administration by adopting the transparent mechanism to help the taxpayers.
One common thread in the success of this institution has been the relentless pursuit of excellence of its members. No wonder in 2008, the United Nations Development Programme picked up the Indian Income Tax Appellate Tribunal as a case study of success story from the developing world and projected it as a role model in UNDP event at New York for other developing nations.
Niti Aayog will develop a national data and analytics platform to make all government data accessible to stakeholders in a user-friendly manner. Releasing the vision document for the National Data and Analytics Platform, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar said that the NDAP will strive to ensure that the data is assured, consistent, coherent and credible. The platform aims to democratize access to publicly available government data. The vision document was released in the presence of Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant, senior officials from various ministries and state governments, academics and researchers.
This platform, I think, is one of its kind, and for the people of India, that is going beyond the government and the researchers. If you look at that segment, it means getting access to government data in a manner that they can understand it. It's not as if that we'll be generating data. Data is there. A lot of data is there. Government is committed on its open data policy. But, generating data and putting the data across to people in a manner that is accessible, easily accessible, understandable, usable, further usable, is what this platform will work on.
IMF Chief Kristalina Georgieva on Friday expressed optimism towards India's economic growth. Speaking at the World Economic Forum, Georgieva said India's growth slowdown appears to be temporary and that she expects the momentum to improve going ahead. She added that global economy is doing better than 2019, owing to positive factors like receding trade tension after the US-China first phase trade deal and synchronized tax cuts, among others. Despite some positive factors, Georgieva expressed concern over the sluggish global growth and said 3.3% is not a fantastic growth rate for the world economy. Campaigning for Delhi Assembly elections has intensified, with all parties going all out. Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Thursday campaigned in support of the BJP candidates. Addressing an election rally in Delhi's Karwal Nagar, he accused Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal for opposing the citizenship law. He said that 1/3 of the people in Delhi have settled after partition, and the Aam Aadmi Party is opposing granting citizenship to refugees.
मुझे तो मालूम ही नहीं पड़ता कि राहुल गांधी और केजरीवाल और इमरान खान के बीच में रिश्ता क्या है। ये दोनों की बात एक समान क्या है। मित्रों, ये लोग देश को सुरक्षित नहीं रख सकते। जो अपनी वोट बैंक की लालच के अंदर देश की सुरक्षा के साथ, देश के सम्मान के साथ, देश की सेना की सुरक्षा के साथ, हमारे जवानों की सुरक्षा के साथ खिलवाड़ करते हैं, उनको राजनीति के अंदर वोट मांगने का अधिकार नहीं है। आज भी निर्लज होकर कहते हैं हम शाहीन बाग वालों के साथ। मित्रों, जो दंगे कराते हैं, जो दंगों के लिए उकसाते हैं, उनको दिल्ली वालों ने वोट देना चाहिए। जोर से बोलो, देना चाहिए। पीछे अंधेरा है, वहां तक बोलिए, देना चाहिए क्या?
Meanwhile, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Friday held a roadshow in Janakpuri. He appealed to people to vote in large numbers in support of the Aam Aadmi Party in the upcoming polls. Continuing with our election coverage, our focus today on Chandni Chowk Assembly seat. With an electorate of only over 1,25,000, Chandni Chowk is Delhi's smallest but one of the most prominent and prestigious seats, which is witnessing a three-way contest with candidates from Congress, BJP and AAP in the fray this time.
Delhi's historical Chandni Chowk. The prominent market in Old Delhi dates to the founding of the then capital city of Shah Jahanabad when Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan established the Red Fort on the banks of the Yamuna in the 17th century. Part of Old Delhi, the Chandni Chowk constituency is mostly dominated by businesses and is considered an important seat by all political parties. The battle for the seat will be between three parties, the Congress, BJP and AAP. But the contest has taken an interesting turn following the defection of MLAs. In 2015, the Aam Aadmi Party fielded Alka Lamba, a former Congress leader who had joined the AAP then. She backed the seat for AAP but was disqualified in 2019 after she rejoined the Congress. Lamba is now seeking re-election on a Congress ticket. The Aam Aadmi Party has meanwhile fielded former veteran Congress leader Prahlad Singh Sahni, who joined the party last year. Sahni is four-time Congress MLA from this seat, retaining it from 1998 to 2015.
तो कोई पार्किंग है, ना कोई ग्राउंड है, ना कुछ है, तो वहाँ एक बहुत बड़ी जगह खाली पड़ी है जिसको वाटर सप्लाई की जगह है, उसको हम लोग चाहते हैं केजरीवाल साहब उसमें कर दें। सबसे पहला प्लान हमारा ये होगा कि हम उसके लोगों को वो करें और मालीवाड़ा चांदनी चौक के अंदर जितनी लटकी हुई तारें हैं इनको ठीक करें। पानी की समस्या कहीं है तो ठीक है, मेरे हिसाब से तो पानी की समस्या हमने काफ़ी ठीक कर दी थी।
The third main contender for the prestigious seat is BJP's Suman Kumar Gupta.
एक ही निवेदन है कि इस चांदनी चौक क्षेत्र का विकास किया जाए, जो एक ये ऐतिहासिक विश्व धरोहर का क्षेत्र लाल किला जिसके अंदर हो, जिसके अंदर विधानसभा हो, जिसके अंदर नगर निगम के हेडक्वार्टर हो। यहाँ पर विकास के नाम पर अगर देखेंगे गलियों में टूटी फूटी सड़कें, सीवर की समस्या, पानी की समस्या, ट्रैफिक जाम की समस्या, समस्याओं से घिरा हुआ ये चांदनी चौक है। हम चाहते हैं कि इसका विकास करें।
As elections approach, locals in the area are relying on the candidates to find permanent solutions to issues like traffic jams, parking and a pending redevelopment plan.
कहना चाहते हैं हमारा बिजनेस कम हो रहा है, इससे सेल बहुत कम हो रही है, 1.5 साल होगी इसको और कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, यही प्रॉब्लम है रोड की प्रॉब्लम।
वो बाहर भी जो है ना सीवर का पानी बह रहा है जी, और हम
पैसे दे दे के भी दुखी हो गए। कितने पैसे हम अपने पास से खर्च करें? जल बोर्ड वाले आते हैं, देखते हैं, चले जाते हैं।
अभी पहले इन्होंने गांधी ग्राउंड की पार्किंग तोड़ी, उसके बाद ये चांदनी चौक का काम शुरू कर दिया। ये उसके बाद फिर अब ये क्या, इन्होंने एक और पार्किंग बंद कर दी। यहाँ तो गाड़ी लगाने की भी जगह नहीं है।
Chandni Chowk elected either the Congress or the BJP since its formation in 1993, but the picture changed in 2015 with the emergence of the Aam Aadmi Party. While the Congress ruled the constituency between 1998 and 2015, the BJP was in power between 1993 and 1998. With inputs from Leena Sharma, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Election Commission today suggested Supreme Court that political parties should be asked not to give tickets to candidates having criminal antecedents. It told the Supreme Court that its 2018 direction asking poll candidates to declare their criminal antecedents in electronic and print media has not helped curb criminalization of politics. Meanwhile, the top court asked the poll panel to come up with a framework within 1 week to curb criminalization of politics in country. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro arrived in New Delhi on Friday on a 4-day visit. He will be the chief guest at India's 71st Republic Day celebrations on Sunday. Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan received Bolsonaro at the Air Force Station, Palam. On Saturday, Brazilian President will meet President Ramnath Kovind, who will host a banquet in his honor. He will also hold bilateral talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi tomorrow, after which several agreements are expected to be signed. The Brazilian president is accompanied by 8 ministers, 4 members of the Brazilian parliament, senior officials, and a large business delegation.
This is the first visit of President Bolsonaro to India after he assumed office on 1st of January 2019. But Prime Minister Modi and he have had an occasion to meet on 2 occasions. One on the sidelines of the G20 meeting at Osaka in June, and second at the BRICS summit in Brasilia in November 2019. Now, India and Brazil have very warm and friendly relations, and as 2 democracies, we have shared approaches, we have shared values. Our bilateral relations were elevated to a level of a strategic partnership in 2006. And as 2 developing countries, we have similar developmental and global aspirations. This has led to a convergence of mutual interest in many areas.
The United States is taking action to curb birth tourism in the country. The anti-immigration measures are part of President Donald Trump's agenda to crack down on the misuse of visitor visas to the U.S. Accordingly, the U.S. has barred issue of visas to pregnant women seeking to enter the country for the primary purpose of giving birth.
The Trump administration is imposing new visa rules to restrict birth tourism. Effective from 24 January, the new policy is an attempt to deter foreign nationals from traveling to the US to give birth in order to get American citizenship for their children. The State Department says traveling to deliver a child in the US is not a legitimate activity for pleasure or of a recreational nature. The new rule applies to visitors seeking temporary visitor visas or B visas that are issued to non-immigrants. It allows US consular officials to deny a visa to any individual whose primary purpose is to give birth in the US. Pregnant women applying for US visitor visas may need to prove they have a specific reason for travel other than giving birth. The policy adds that the birth tourism industry is rife with criminal activity, including international criminal schemes. It also tightens rules on those wishing to enter the US for medical treatment. It requires visa applicants to prove they have the means and intent to pay for their medical expenses. The rule does not apply to the 39 countries that are part of the visa waiver program, most of them in Europe, that allows citizens to come to the US without a visa for temporary stays.
Any lady delivers a child in United States, pregnant and went to deliver a child in United States, then through naturalization, the child can get American citizenship. And if you can add on to your citizens one after another, then somewhere United States doesn't, they want to restrict the inflow of people into United States because, Trump was elected on the platform of anti-immigration. He opposed immigration rules, he opposed immigration, and particularly immigration of the dark people. So that is the reason that they want to control it.
Nearly all children born in the United States of America get automatic citizenship as per their constitution, even if their parents are non-citizens or even lack the legal documentation to be in the country. The 14th Amendment to the US Constitution states that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Applauding the new policy, the White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said, "Closing this glaring immigration loophole will combat these endemic abuses and ultimately protect the United States from the national security risks created by this practice. The rule will defend American taxpayers from having their hard-earned dollars spent on costs associated with birth tourism. The integrity of American citizenship must be protected." Currently, pregnant women can enter the US even up until they give birth. While there are no official figures, the State Department said foreigners arriving in the US to give birth is increasing in recent years. The US has been cracking down on the practice before Trump took office. The Center for Immigration Studies estimates that 33,000 children were born to women on temporary tourist visas between the second half of 2016 and the first half of 2017. The US has also sought legal action against people capitalizing on the birth tourism industry. Last year, 3 people were charged with running birth tourism for Chinese clients in Southern California. It was the first time criminal charges were filed in a US federal court over the practice. Since the beginning of his tenure, Trump has been critical of birthright citizenship and other immigration laws. In his presidential campaign, Trump called for eliminating birthright citizenship. The issue was revived before the 2018 midterm elections and is once again coming ahead of the 2020 presidential vote. With inputs from Kunal Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Battling the fast-spreading coronavirus, China has shut down 13 cities, bringing the number affected by the shutdown to over 30 million as authorities scramble to control the disease. The death toll has climbed to 26, with confirmed cases rising sharply to over 880, prompting authorities to lock down cities during the country's most important holiday period. The World Health Organization has said that it was too early to declare the outbreak of the novel coronavirus in China a public health emergency of international concern. The virus had spread to Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam and the United States. Meanwhile, Embassy of India in Beijing issued a statement saying that it was in touch with relevant Chinese authorities in Beijing and Wuhan, as well as Indians in Hubei province. And now let's talk about environment and climate change. A new research conducted in the Himalayan region suggests that plant life is expanding in the area around Mount Everest and across the Himalayan region. Researchers say that these plants are growing at heights where earlier mostly small plants and grasses used to grow. Scientists used satellite data from 1993 to 2018 to measure the extent of vegetation between the tree and snow line. The researchers found a weekly positive increase in the extent of subnival vegetation since 1993, with the strongest trends emerging between 5,000 and 5,500 meters above sea level. This change in the Himalayan ecosystem is linked to warming temperatures and climate change. The result of the research has been published in the Global Change Biology Journal. India makes a winning start to their 2020 international series against New Zealand after winning the first match of the series by 6 wickets at Eden Park on Friday. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.